Okay, so I wanted to touch on this for quite some time, and I originally wanted to touch on this on the last day of May. I just didn't get a chance to do it because there was like a few other important topics I wanted to cover on that very day. So I really couldn't get a chance to it, although I really wanted to. But now I think it's a good time for me to do so, and you know, this one in particular is regarding my friendship with Diana. Now, I did remember on the very last day of May, which happened to be on a Saturday, I reflected on, I think, the best trip that I've ever had on that very day, or the best adventure that I've ever had, and the best adventure I ever had with a friend, and which is, in this case, Diana, when we did that hot air balloon ride and just, you know, having our own adventure in San Diego and La Jolla, and then back to Temecula for the hot air balloon glow in the dark show. And it was just, like, to me, the longest day I've ever had in my life, especially to leave the house from like 3 a.m. all the way till, you know, till like 1 a.m. I guess I got back home like around 1ish. It was such a long, like the longest day I've ever had, especially with a friend, and which in this case is Diana. That, to me, that just stands to this very day like the best ever adventure day I've ever had, and it had to be one of the prettiest people I've ever met, and one of the, my now ex close friend, which is Diana. So I just want to touch on our friendship as far as, like, you know, I don't want to go too much into like reflecting what, you know, our every single hangout that we did. Just just trying to cover as much as possible, and what the future will be like, because I know that she's got a life of her own, and she's got a kid. She has a she's a mother now. And she has a husband. I think the husband already had a kid before they even got together. So you know she is in her own world right now, and that's just that. But that won't stop me from wanting to to, to discuss this, because if I got to be honest, I really miss Diana. um, I know at one point, like, I feel like I might have annoyed her to a certain extent, like asking her some questions, and it got to the point where she felt like she got bothered in that when I asked her like one question so I can give her an opinion on something, and all of a sudden she she blocked me on Facebook, and same with Instagram. So that pretty much ended our friendship. And I did remember at one point, like, when she saw my worst, which was, this is what, like, I mean, I wasn't really my worst at that time, but I had one of my worst episodes back in 2018, because I mean, I said something, and Vivian tried to scare me with it, and she never did. That was just like a warning, a wake up call. I talked to Diana about it, and you know, so she pretty much knew, like, my weakness, and my then weakness that I am taking care of right now. So if she was my friend to this day, at least she would have, you know, she would have known, she would have been proud of me that I got the help that I need. She was one of the most supportive friends I ever had. One of the most loyal, just like Mari, just like Anastasia. I think, but to me, I think Diana was just about one of the most loyal, much like Mari. I think her and Mari are just similar in loyalty. Although I know Diana is several years older than me, although she doesn't look older than me. Like, just judging from our pictures together, I think she looks maybe like about my age, or maybe like 1 year younger. You know, that's just how young looking she is, and just fresh and very beautiful like that. Look like a young, beautiful Diana. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, our friendship just consisted of a lot of adventure hangouts. And I mean, we've done a whole lot of adventures. I mentioned the hot air balloon ride. And not to mention, we've gone to a whole bunch of other places, as far as mostly nature stuff. And, we went to the beach a lot. I remember that one project that we did in Dana Point where I think like she and I, went to Michael's. She wanted to buy a few things, and she was all into photography and she was all into art, much like me. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she was all into modeling. So, yeah, she bought a few things, and this is one of the examples of the project that we did here. Yeah, as you can see, that was her camera, and she was wearing a white dress. Her face is not shown there, but if you see what that is, it's got like the seashells, the letter, the wording that says dream, and 3 candles, and one of them, the tallest one, says live, laugh, and love. And she put some sand on it, so she's all into that stuff, like the crafting and the modeling and photography like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's one of the projects that we've done. And I think Diana, to me, as far as like being the friend that she is huge on adventure. And I mean, she is huge on adventure. She's traveled a whole lot. I think, like, of all the friends that I know, Diana has, to me, based on the stuff that she tells me about travel, I think she, like, of all my other friends, I think, to me, she has told me, like, about a whole lot of travels that she's done. I think, to me, as far as friendship goes, our friends go, she has the most travels that I've ever heard from a friend. The most. She went to Bali. I think she went to South America. I mean, she pretty much traveled all over the world. And, it's just like, man, I feel like she must have gone all over the world. I mean, she's got an album full of adventures that she went to. And let's not forget, like, we celebrated her birthday together. We celebrated my birthday together. I still have her the journals that she gave me. I remember the one that has like that. It's like an atlas type of notebook, and for me to just write about where I traveled and all that. I mean, I haven't really gone anywhere since 2022. If you're talking about travel, I went to Vegas. That was the last time. That was the last travel I ever had in my life. So, and then but yeah, I had another one too. I think that was the one with the quotes on the left side of every page. Yeah, Diana gave me that too, and she inspired me. That journal that she gave me was when I did the Kobe Bryant, the Mamba 24 monthly vlog thing that I did, in honor of the year 2024, so that every 24th of the month I would do a Kobe quote, and I would design the look of the Kobe quote, and I would have maybe like 3 pages where I would have the meaning of the quote and how it applies to my life. So you can look at it. You can look at all the Kobe vlogs there on my channel here. I have most of them up. I still have a couple of them to upload. I haven't got a chance to do that yet. So yeah, but she was all, man, like, I got to be thankful here for a friend like Diana, because she really, like, as much as Tristan pushed me to improve my outdoor feel, especially like when it comes to the Wanderlust, I think Diana has taken it to the next level for me. Considering what we've done in 2014 and going to 2015 and 16, 17, 18, she pushed me to where it feels off limits where I go. She inspired me a whole lot more because I've done a whole lot with her, even far out. Like we did a hot air balloon ride. I was in Temecula, went to San Diego on the same day that we did the hot air balloon ride. You know, we celebrate St. Patrick's Day going to this one bar, and I mean, we went to Long Beach a couple of times, and I remember that one time what was it? Like we were in the parking structure, we were trying to get down. We went through that spiral, that spiral street that was gonna lead all the way down to the structure, and I went so fast, and she was like, "Oh, Jay, don't do that." I made her upset at the time. Yeah, but for the most part, Diana just really got me into being a more adventurous person. And now, not into the level that she was, because I remember, I'll never forget this. She wanted me to do skydiving with her. As great as that hot air balloon ride was, she always wanted to do skydiving. And yes, I've seen her do that. I saw her Facebook posts, her videos where she did the skydiving. I just can't. She is all about the extremes, the extreme adventures, the extreme, she is all about that kind of adventure. I mean, I try to be, but I just can't. And I think this is the same person that doesn't like roller coasters. I'm trying to remember correctly. But she don't like roller coasters, but she likes skydiving. I wonder what the difference is there. Oh, well, roller coasters are, knowing me and Tristan are huge fans. They vary in a bunch of twists and turns, and Six Flags has a whole bunch of extreme coasters that they can make you throw up, or in the case of Riddler's Revenge, they can cramp your balls or your or your legs, which happened to me when I rode that twice in my life. Yeah, it's just that bad. I don't even know if I can handle stand-up coasters ever again. You know what I'm saying? And especially now with my conditioning, if I was to ride it, I might not even be able to walk for the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, Diana was that friend. I gotta give her so much credit because she did push me to the limits, and off limits as far as like my wanderlust goes. As much as Tristan initiated this outdoor feel, it was more about Diana who took that for me at another level. So she took my outdoor, my willingness to be in the outdoors at another level. So yeah, it's we did, like I said, we did a whole lot, and they were all great, amazing hangouts we ever had, just unforgettable. Yes, I know I tried to ask her out. She was not interested. She always looked at me as a friend and a brother, and and then you know what? It was like I learned to accept it, because she was always gonna look at me like that, as painful as it was, like at the time, because I thought I've had a chance, and this was just when I was trying to find somebody, in my life at the time, and this is before I even, I even just started to just, not be, like not let that be a thing that much anymore, where dating is not really so much of a thing. Like when I met Sam and Monica and all these other girls, like later on 2015, that pretty much changed my perspective on dating, you know what I mean? But at the time, Diana was that special friend. Yes, I gotta say she is a very special friend I've ever had. And even though we may no longer be friends, I'll just never forget what we did. I'll never forget how she, at the time, she always made me smile, to where not only are our hangouts amazing, but her personality is just amazing as well. And I know she gets really picky about certain things that she wants, as far as like how she invests on her future and all that. And I get that she is several years older than me, but she's, she doesn't even look remotely that close to being, several years older than me. So, but we've done a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? So I even invited her to a high school reunion at the time. That was like 2015, June 2015. So we done a lot in 2015 and 16. I mean, I think 2015 was just the most that we ever had done. So many adventures. So yeah, I mean, I love Diana. She was a special friend to me, and before Mari, I think she was definitely to me the prettiest lady I've ever met, or better yet, before Sam. Yeah, because I met Sam in like June of 2015. Shout out to Sam. Our 10-year friendship anniversary is actually tomorrow. I gotta email her. I gotta show her what I did. Basketball shoot around tribute for that day tomorrow as well. So yeah, but Diana was before Sam and Mari. She was the prettiest lady I ever met. No doubt. Just looking back on some of the pictures, she definitely was the prettiest lady I ever met. To have her as a friend, and I know she's got a life right now. I don't know if we're ever gonna have a future, as far as reconnecting with our friendship. But she is where she is right now. She's in a whole different world. So I just want to say thank you for our friendship, Diana, and I just hope and wish her the best, in what you do and what she does. Never gonna forget our memories. I'm never gonna forget. For a super pretty, just very beautiful as she is, and so is her loyalty to me. I gotta thank her for everything. So this is all I'm gonna touch on right now. I mean, I can say a whole lot more if I have to, but this is all I'm gonna cover with, as far as like, my friendship with Diana. Yes, she's hung out with me and a couple of friends, mostly the female. Ivy's one, and then Anastasia's another one. And I think, did I have Cecilia? I don't think I did. No, it was just Anastasia and Ivy. And I remembered Chris, but yeah, because of the high school reunion, because they were, we were allowed to bring a guest. So yeah, that's all I'm going to touch on. I miss you, Diana, and I just I want to say thank you for our friendships, and just live your life. So peace out, everyone.